Good morning. Let's open to page 49. We'll be on lesson 1.8. We have done multiplying by decimals, so today we're going to divide decimals by a whole number. So if you look at this first example, it says Dan opened a savings account at a bank to save for a new snowboard. He earned $3.48 interest on his savings account over a 3-month period. What was the average amount of interest Dan earned per month on his savings account? So that word average, you see I have it underlined there. That word average is going to say that we're trying to divide this number among an even amount. So the 348, I'm going to divide by 3. If I estimate it, that 3 is very close, or the 3.48 is very close to 3, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. So what we're going to do when we're taking this division right here is we are going to keep our decimals exactly where they are, 3.48, and I'm dividing by 3. I'm going to take this decimal and I'm going to carry it right up to the top. And then I'm just going to use this just like long division. So I'm going to say 3 goes into 3 one time. I multiply those and I get 3. I subtract and I bring down the 4. 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. I subtract, that's 1, and I bring down the 8. And then I say 3 goes into 18 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. And I should have no remainder. Remember what we were talking about on Friday. When I have money, I should only have 2 decimal spots. So that works out. So my answer is $1.16, $1.16. That's what it would be if it was divided among 3 groups, the 348, which is very close to our estimate of 1. So we know we did a good job. Let's go ahead and look at page 50. So you have 42.133 divided by 7. So when I have a large number like that, and I want to divide by a whole number, I want to see if there's any number close to this that 7 would go into. I know that 7 goes into 42, so if I estimate it, 42 divided by 7, I'm going to get 6. So I know that that's a good estimate. Let's go ahead and we'll take this and work out the 42. We'll work it out the long way. So I keep that number exactly the way that it is, and I'm going to divide by 7. Before I do the work, I'm going to take this decimal and I'm going to carry it up right above it. I don't move it at all. I don't have to worry about anything about the decimal now. I'm just going to treat this like it's long division. So I'm going to say 42 divided by 7 is 6. 6 times 7 is 42. I subtract and get 0. I bring down a 1. 7 cannot go into 1, so I put a 0 there. 0 times 7 is 0. I subtract and have a 1. Now I bring down this 3. The 3 makes it a 13. 13 divided by 7, 1 time. 7 times 1 is 7, and I get a 6 there. Now I bring down this 3, and 7 can go into 63 9 times. So I have 6.019, which is very close to my estimate that I had of 6. So we're doing good so far. Let's go ahead and go to the next page. We'll go to page 51. And if you need to pause this at any time so that you can complete taking notes, go ahead and do that and come back. Let's look at this first one, number 2. I know I have a dollar sign there, but I'm going to go ahead and draw a line over that. I don't want to use the dollar sign until I get to the answer. I don't want that to be confusing in any way. Okay, so this 17, if I were to estimate that, I could do 15 divided by 5. I could do that. That's a pretty close estimate to 3. Or I could go up and I don't want to say 14 because that's pretty low. I could go up to the 21 and divide that by 7, and that's also going to be 3. So my estimate is going to be pretty close. Let's go ahead and we'll actually work this out. Again, I want to carry my decimal up above where it was for this problem. And I'm going to say 7 goes into 17 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. I'm going to subtract and get a 3. I bring down my 1. 7 goes into 31 4 times. 4 times 7 is 28. I subtract and get a 4, and I'm going to bring that 5 down. And 7 goes into 45 6 times. 6 times 7 is 42. And I'm going to get a 3. Now, I could keep going. I could add more zeros, but because I want to estimate it and I'm working with money, I have to keep it at just 2 decimal spots. So my estimate would have been 3. If I'm working with money, I'm going to go ahead and just make that 2.46. I can't keep going because money only has 2 decimal spots. Let's go ahead and work our way through number 4. I'm going to erase my work on the side here. So if you haven't written this down, pause it so that you can write down that work for number 2. And then I'll erase, and we're going to look at number 4. So I'm going to have 12 goes into 60.84. Again, I'm going to bring that decimal up before I even start the work. I know that 12 goes into 60 5 times. 5 times 12 is 60. If you don't know this off the top of your head, make sure that you're using your multiplication chart, because your multiplication chart goes up to 25, so this will help you. 12 cannot go into 8, so I'm going to put a 0 there. 12 times 0 is 0. When I subtract, I get 8, and then I'm going to bring this 4 down. 12 goes into 84 7 times. Again, if you don't know that off the top of your head, that's okay. You will be able to use your multiplication chart. 7 times 12 is going to give me 84, and I subtract and I get 0. So here's my answer. I'm going to get this at the top of my division bar, but I want you to go ahead and write your answer over here. Please make sure that if your work cannot fit on this page, that's okay. It makes sense for it to not fit on this page, so use another piece of paper. I want to be able to see your work and your answers very clearly. So if your work page becomes a mess or your answer page becomes a mess because you don't have room to show all of your work, we need to start using another piece of paper. I'm going to go ahead and erase this work again just so that I have room to work. So if you have not written this down, pause again. And we'll erase. And I'm going to do one of the examples from 10 through 12. Let's go ahead and do number 12. I am going to look at this, and I see that I have parentheses first, and it tells me to add. So I'm going to add 3.11 plus 4.0. And when I add and subtract decimals, I line up those decimals, and I have to fill in a 0 after that other one so that I can have the same amount of digits. And then I add down 1 plus 0, 1 plus 0, 3 plus 4, and I bring my decimal down. And it looks like I'm going to take that and divide it by, so this is 7.11, I'm going to divide that by 9. And when I divide by 9, the first number is the one that goes inside of the little bar. The second number is the one that goes on the outside. I'm going to carry that decimal up. So now 9 cannot go into 7, so that's a 0. And I can just subtract there and bring down my 1. 9 goes into 71 7 times. 7 times 9 is 63. And I'm going to subtract, and I will get an 8 and then bring down this 1. And 9 goes into 81 9 times. So I've worked this all the way out. My answer should be 0.79. If you just give me a 0.79 and don't have a 0 in front of the decimal, that's fine. It doesn't change the value at all. Hopefully this helps a little bit. When you have written these notes down, you can go ahead and go on, and your homework is page 53. You do not have to do the word problems or anything on page 54, just page 53, all of it. Number 1 is there as an example for you.